Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And she's going to answer the question for all of us. Why is Disney's stock falling?
Well, I'm going to give you my opinion as to why Disney's stock is falling.
Okay, so lay it on us. We're going to talk about Disney, another daily dose of dismal Disney.
I think there's a few reasons why, but I think the impending possible strike in Disneyland is a big part of it. If those workers go on strike, it's going to be right ahead of the earnings call on August 7th. And as I mentioned the other day, it could be during the D23 Expo. And that's a big deal. It's like their huge Disney event. Lots of media.
Yeah, so that's not a good look, as they like to say, to have a strike going on during the big D23, which they don't do every year. It's like every other year.
It's every other year. D23 Expo is every other year. Now they have D20, the other D23. I forget which one it's called. It's like a smaller one they do in Florida. So like on the off years they do it in Florida, and then the big one's in Anaheim.
They should call it like D22 and a half or something.
Yeah, no, they don't.
But we're going to talk about this because, yeah, I mean, look, they had a couple of hits. I'm saying a couple of hits because Inside Out 2 did really well. And I guarantee you Deadpool and Wolverine's going to do really well. But that's probably not going to be enough because a lot of people are saying the parks are empty. People aren't going to the parks.
Yeah, we're going to mention that, too, that Disney's trying desperately to give discounts. And we're going to talk about how that impacts it. I'm sure that's going to come into play. I think it's going to be up to whatever announcements we get. But Epic Universe is coming, and Epic Universe is going to be here while Disney's still twiddling their thumbs, which I think investors are looking at that. Yeah. So there's several reasons. But before we get into it any further.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so walk me through this. The stock dropped. I know some people are tagging me on Twitter saying, hey, that the stock is dropping, and some people are predicting it might go below $90.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I knew it was dropping. It's been dropping for a few days now. Like it stayed after the Disney investor call, it was staying at like 100. Well, it's not this time, but if you go back like in the last 6 months, it was staying in like the 100, mostly 104 to 102 range for like quite a while. Mm-hmm. And then after like the whole stuff with the Disneyland situation escalating, it has gone down. So it was at 93. I forget what at the time my article was 93.64.
Jeez.
So that was like an hour ago or so.
Disney's fine, everybody. Disney's just great.
Disney's not great. And I want to point out again that the Disney stock was the highest it's been in a long time, right ahead of the annual shareholder meeting when people thought there might be a change and we might get some, good news. And as soon as it was in the media that Peltz didn't have the votes he needed to win ahead of the meeting, the stock just dropped.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think that, people thought there was actually going to be some change, and there's not going to be any change at Disney. It's very clear there's not going to be any change. And
yes and no. We just had Safra Katz exit the Disney board with no explanation.
That's a little weird.
Which I'm sure isn't making investors feel very good either.
No. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how this is. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how it's going to play out. I know D23. Even if they avoid the strike, they're going to have a lot of questions, especially if they do the refurbs, the rumored refurbs. People are not real happy about the rumors of what they're going to do to the Haunted Mansion.
People aren't happy about that one.
People think that the Beyond Thunder Mountain, if they announce that, it's going to be massively underwhelming compared to what was originally planned, which was supposed to be a villain's land. And now they're talking it might just be like Coco or something. Yeah.
And people are like thinking they might get a fifth gate, but it depends who you ask. So people said that yes, it's happening. And people say, no, it's not. And honestly, I have no answer to you on these because you have any inside information on this. We won't know until they announce it or, Disney says something, or I hear more from certain people. I'll keep looking to see what they say and see what, I'm hearing. But the strike is a big part of it. And for those who don't know what's going on, we did a video on it. Disneyland workers, there's 4 unions involved in this coalition, and their contract is up for some of them and going to be up for others. And they're trying to renegotiate the contract because in California, with the inflation being the way it is, they're not being paid enough to live. And a lot of people have, lack of food, their rents too, they can't barely pay their rent. And it's an ongoing issue. And the C-suite keeps getting more and more money while the people, on the ground, the ones that you've interfaced with, the ones that make the magic, keep getting screwed over. So they want that. They want better conditions at work. They want, a better seniority. There's different things that they want. And I agree with them on it. I'm going to back them on it. And Disney doesn't want to do it. They only want to give them like a quarter more an hour, or 50 cents more an hour. And
yeah, it's not going to go very far.
It's not going to cut it.
No.
So they're trying to negotiate today and tomorrow. If they don't come up with an agreement, they have gotten strike authorization. Now, I want to be clear because some people are putting headlines out there that are, there's no strike yet. There is no strike yet. They have authorization to strike if necessary, and they said it's a last resort, and it wouldn't be until after if these negotiations fail and they don't make an extension that they're willing to wait to negotiate again, they could technically start going on strike like after Tuesday.
Yeah.
But there is no strike at this point in time. I want to make that abundantly clear because there's a lot of people out there kind of like, oh, Disney's on strike. It's not. They're not. Not yet. So, but if they do go on strike and it gets to that point, it's going to look really, really, really bad for Disney. And then come the investor call, if the strike's still going on by August 7th, it's going to look even worse. And then again, August 9th through 11th is D23. And that's when everybody comes down to Disneyland area to go to the Anaheim Convention Center, which you've been to, or you've seen it. It's across the street.
It's right across the street from, California Adventures. So that's going to be really awkward if they do go on strike and you have to drive past the striking Disney workers to go to D23 where they're going to talk about all the stuff that's going to happen and all the money they're going to spend that they're not spending on their people. Yeah, it's not a good look.
So it's not going to be good, and it's going to be a media circus. And then people that are coming just because they want to go to D23 often go to Disneyland parks.
Yeah.
And while not everyone is in the union, there's enough people that it could be out because it's 99% agreed to strike.
Yes.
Enough people would be out. It would severely impact the guest experience and the way the parks are operated, during D23. It would be a huge deal.
They're talking potential shutdown. They're talking, this is the most serious.
Disney's trying to say that, oh, no, we'll have it covered. You won't be, your trip will not be impacted. Bullshit.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Shit.
I think Disney is running out of money. I think that this is a big part of it. I mean, remember, nobody's talking about this. We're talking about how much money they're not making at the box office up until recently with Inside Out 2. And we're talking about, Deadpool and Wolverine's going to do well. And I'm sure Moana 2 is going to do well. And they're bringing the Russo brothers back to do Avengers. Stuff
isn't even coming. It wouldn't even be for Q3.
Years.
That'd be Q4. No, but I'm saying it's not going to impact anything for Q3.
So regardless of that, everybody keeps forgetting about these massive loans they took out during the pandemic.
You never hear anything about that. Like, I know they paid some of them back, but like they had some that had like they had to go 30 years, so they had to pay it back and stuff, and you never hear anything about it.
No, so they're gonna, I'm sure it's buried in their report, but they're going to kind of, the term is kick the can down the road, and they're not going to call attention to that. Like, okay, we did this, we did that, but we're this much in debt, and we owe all this. I mean, look at Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is like, hey, yeah, guys, we're doing pretty good. Look at our numbers. Our streaming numbers are great. And then they're like, you're still like $40 billion in debt.
Well, and Disney, the Acolyte didn't do well. They're going to try to spin that it is, and it's up in the air whether they'll get a season 2. Hopefully, it will.
I don't think it will.
But when you look at the actual viewership, we've done videos on it. It was not good. Now, they are banking on the Reylos so hard. That's what they tried to do. They tried to do a Reylo-esque relationship because they're like, what do people like out of Disney Star Wars? And the best they came up with was Reylos. So they are definitely trying to leverage the show towards them. So when they started offering that kind of relationship at the end.
Abusive?
Yeah. Abusive, but it's
creepy.
So hot at the end. When they started doing that, they started getting more viewers, and it's possible over 12 weeks, those last couple episodes could drive the show to catching up to Ahsoka because of the Reylos. But they had to do that as a last ditch effort at the end to try to save the show. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it was planned, obviously, because it was all in the can, but I'm just saying that's where the way they went, thinking, what's the one thing that could possibly bring an audience? Let's do a Reylo type thing. Rey and, for those who don't know, it's Rey and Kylo Ren's ship.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're not doing great. And then that brings me to the next thing, which is Bloomberg's talking about how Disney's trying to make amends with unhappy guests because they're offering all kinds of discounts and deals trying to get people to the parks. Here's the downside of this. This is what investors are going to look at. When Disney has done their earnings call, the one bright spot they had was that the theme parks were doing well, and they were bringing a lot of profit in, which was lifting up the other aspects like Disney streaming, and which is not profitable yet, and Disney's film slate and things like that. It was covering for their losses. All right. So they have been nickel and diming guests and driving up park prices because by their own admission, the attendance is down. It's still down. It's going down more, I think. But they were just charging more per guest. Per guest spending was at PCAP.
Yeah.
Spending was up. So the spending from the gouging people and getting rid of the disability pass and saying, oh, use Genie Plus and Lightning Lane and things like that. They were trying to raise how much people are spending for what they have left. But it's getting worse. Over the summer, people are saying the crowds are even worse than they were before as far as being no one there. So now they're trying to get people back to the parks, but they're offering discounts to do that. This article said they talked to Lindsay Robertson, who's a mother of two in Dallas, and they said Disney has lost our family for good. We had to get back-to-back negative experience with staff. The standby lines are out of control. The cost has become unsurmountable. She says that the cost, I hope this is what she was paying. A cost of a high-end trip to the Florida park has now reached around $40,000.
High-end trip. So
is she paying for the high-end trips with the tour guides and everything else? Because I can't. Nobody in their right mind is going to pay $40,000 flipping dollars to go to Disney World. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care how rich you are, Disney World is not worth $40,000.
That is, okay, for one trip, that is the annual salary of a worker at Disney World. Probably more than some of those people are making.
Right. You can go for far less than
that is
$40,000. I'm going to say it's going to cost you probably between, 6 to 7, depending on how much your flights cost.
Yeah, I mean,
and where you stay.
You can do it if you stay outside the parks. You can probably do a couple $1,000s if you're really.
Well, no, I don't think you can. Want the cost of tickets and Genie Plus.
Okay, well, I'd say $3,000 to $4,000.
But I'd say if you're staying in the park, you're probably going to expect to pay about 6 to 7, depending on what your flights are and stuff and where you stay. They said the poorly managed crowds and clunky reservation system, which is a pain in the ass, it's suffering from social sentiment crisis. On Yelp, the number of 4- and 5-star reviews has tumbled from almost 52% in 2019 to 33% in 22. Last year, more than 40% of Yelp reviewers gave the theme park 1- or 2-star reviews.
It didn't make the top 10 list this year for TripAdvisor
only,
either.
Only Magic Kingdom did.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Magic Kingdom's park attendance has sunk almost 20% in the same year, from 21 million visitors in 2019 to 17 in 2022. We don't have any more recent data because it's not available yet. But we're hearing last year we saw lower crowds, but this year, the summer, summer's usually incredibly busy and it's low. People are like, we looked at a video I did a video the other day talking about the wait times, and where Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios seem to be about the same, about normal wait times, Magic Kingdom and Epcot definitely have lower wait times than they usually have. So they said, another mom, Katie Dean, who does New Orleans Mom, said, during my last visit, cast members were also on their cell phones and disengaged from guests. Well, you aren't paying them very much, and they get treated like crap.
They were never on their cell phones before. They were not allowed to be on their cell phones.
And one was dripping with attitude, and when we had a misunderstanding. I have heard more and more people that go all the time, that are in annual pass holder groups and stuff, talking about how there's been a decline in quality. But I also know that these people are they're not hiring as many people as they did, and people are taking more crap than they used to. And I think you get what you can get, because a lot of people went to other places to work, so you get what you can get. They said the complaints are adding up. In June, a fumbled reimagining of Splash Mountain, fans deflated. Are you allowed to say that?
Wow, they actually criticized. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Already complicated Genie Plus ride reservation system got overhauled. It's called Lightning Lane Multi Pass, and they have different rules for different guests. More blackout dates for season pass holders, continue to raise ticket and food prices and stuff. But now Disney says that they're listening. We hear about the complaints, and we've had many trainings on improving guest interaction and guest experience overall. One Magic Kingdom guest experience manager told them. They wanted to be anonymous because they didn't want to get in trouble. Because again, we're retaliation. The guest experience remains a top priority for any Disney theme park visit. That's what Melissa Britt, the spokesperson, said. They're talking about the crowds and the wait times being bad, and the costs could range for $30 to $100 per person per wait. Costs which can range from $30 per person per day to more than $100. Is that per person per day? And they're saying that's for the Lightning Lane stuff, but they're saying individual Lightning Lanes they're doing better, guys, because now you don't have to pay for them for Thursday Never After, Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway. But they're not mentioning that you still need it for a bunch of other things. And stuff. And they're saying that they're trying to do rate reducing strategies. They're trying to do the cost. They said starting in May, they started quietly discounting ticket prices, which hit a high of $254 for one-day park hopper. But that's park hopper. So to be fair, it's more. The company is now through September 24th offering $89 access, however, to people who buy 3-day tickets. But those 3 tickets can only be used at Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. If you want to go to Magic Kingdom, you have to buy another ticket and you have to pay full price for it.
Okay, so this is incredibly confusing. I mean, that's for starters. Not only is it ridiculously expensive, it is incredibly confusing. And the more articles that are put out like this, people are going to be like, God, this isn't worth it. It's just so not worth it.
No, it's not. It's really not. And the planning wasn't bad before. The planning's gotten so much worse since the last time even we went. And we don't go very much now. We
haven't
go
been
all
there
the time.
in like a year and a half, 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And they said that now the hotels, All-Star Movies, Music, and Sports, the cheap ones, are getting reduced nightly rates. They said there's price drops with rates of $125 in mid-January. It was a 27% discount. So they're trying to slowly like drop expenses to try to like make people come. But here's what's going to bite them in the ass is the fact that the crowds are down. But the only thing that was saving them was the cost. The guests were spending more per guest. But now that you're offering discounts, the guests aren't going to spend more per guest. So you had that big, you had the theme parks holding you all up. And now investors are going to look at this and they're going to be like, okay, wait a minute. So we have a strike in Disneyland, which is going to hurt the theme park business. Now you're lowering costs because your crowds aren't there. And you were just, bilking the ones you had. And now you have to lower prices to try to get people in. So you're not going to have that huge cushion at the theme parks, like, we need to offset all your other bullshittery over here, or mouse shittery. So it's not looking good. So we got a potential strike at Disneyland. We've got the parks losing customers and then having to drop costs, which is their upcharging was what was saving them. Mm-hmm. We have one of their board members left.
Yes.
We have the fact that D23 is coming and people are expecting big announcements, which is going to cost more money that Disney doesn't really have. So of course the stocks are dropping. It's like a whirlwind of shit, and investors. Yeah, it's a mouse shit storm, and people are concerned. Investors are concerned. It's falling for a plethora of reasons, and it's Disney's own fault. But don't worry, guys. Bob Iger and his wife just bought a controlling interest in a sports team because
the Russo brothers are coming back for Avengers in like 2 or 3 years. I'm looking at this article. I'm like, oh my God. They said the Be Our Guest restaurant. They said the price of a meal for family of 4 is $300.
Oh my God!
I remember when tripled. I remember Be Our Guest. You used to be able to get like a sandwich. That's lunch.
That's lunch. The Magic Kingdom's Beauty and the Beast theme, Be Our Guest tripled the cost of lunch for about $300 for a family of 4 after taxes and gratuity. Here's what's going on though.
Wow.
Be Our Guest used to be that you go in and it was more of a quick service.
It was quick service.
They changed it to table service. So it used to be that dinner was table service, but breakfast and lunch was not. Now it's all table service.
Yeah, I liked what they did because it was kind of an experiment where it was like during breakfast and lunch, it was the quick service. So you could go in and you could see how cool this restaurant was without having to pay through the nose for dinner. But now it's just all dinner prices.
It's a beautiful restaurant.
Oh, it's an amazing restaurant.
It was one of our favorite places. We went all the time. But yeah, now it's table service. So they raised the price because it's like Cinderella's, royal table. You're in Beast Castle, so if we're gonna get top dollar, $300, and it's like a one of those prefix menus, I think. Yeah. Now, so you can't like just choose like things that are cheaper. It's like you have to pay like one set price.
Yeah, I used to get like the turkey sandwich and a cupcake. That was that was like my thing. But it was like this is ridiculous. But what they're looking at doing is they're trying to get the most amount of money out of the people they have left. And next year, Universal, guarantee you they're going to eat their lunch. I guarantee it. They already are.
I love this. Disney reintroduced dining plans this summer, which will trim 20 to 30% of your food expenses for the average family. No, it won't.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Unless you're getting the Disney dining plan for free, it is not worth the money. It costs $30 per child per day, or $95 per adult for quick service restaurants or character. If you're using character dining experiences, you have the higher end. one that allows you to sit down, like table service one, then yes, it's probably worth it if you're going to do a lot of table service. If you're not going to do a lot of table service for quick service only, it is not worth the money. If you plan on doing a lot of table services, then maybe. I would recommend highly that you sit down, look at the prices of what the costs are. Because a lot of the like table services will have a set price sometimes and stuff. See how much it's going to cost you, all right? Especially for the character dining experiences. Figure out what you would probably buy, what you'd probably eat in a day, and figure out if it's worth your money. A lot of times it does not save you 20, 30% off your stuff unless you're planning a lot of character dining experiences.
Yeah, and
it's just too expensive.
They're a pain. You don't get to eat. They come around like every 2 minutes and you have to like
get pictures taken.
Get your picture, get your autograph. And of course now, it might be like Mickey walks by and like gives you the finger.
I don't know. They're mad. So I don't know, guys, but there's plenty of reasons why their stock is falling. What's it at now? Let me refresh it and see. 94.13. So it's up a little more than it was before. I think the D23 Expo announcements are going to be highly important to their stock price.
Yeah.
But you have to also remember, that's great. We make an announcement. How long is it going to take them to actually build it? And where is the money going to come
10
from
years.
to actually build it? And I make no mistake, come the investor call. Yeah.
It's coming from you.
Come the investor call on August 7th. They're going to try to do the razzle dazzle bullshit. Because I guarantee you Deadpool's going to do great.
Yes.
So they're going to be like, Inside Out 2, Deadpool. It's just a robust film slate. And we're going to have Alien Romulus coming soon. And we're going to have Moana 2 and Mufasa the Lion King. Because our robust slate is robust and great and fantastic.
And the Russo brothers.
And we're gonna lead with all that stuff. And whatever announcements they're going to, well, they won't mention the announcements at D23, but they'll probably mention that we're going to have big announcements at D23 trying to bolster people. But remember, the money has to come from somewhere. It doesn't matter how well these movies did. They're 2 movies after years of shit. It's going to take a long time to claw back out, and they're going to count on the theme parks to keep getting them out of it. And then if they have a strike in Disneyland, it's not going to be good. So I hope they pull their heads out of their collective mouse assholes and give those people what they need at Disneyland.
There you go. All right, we're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.